Hey guys, Michael Ketchen here, coming to you with another episode of the Michael Ketchen Show. Joined as always by Matthew Hitchcock and a good friend who is in town.
Yes.
Happened to get him on a busy schedule, Mr. Joshua Munoz.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Good
Thanks for
seeing you
coming
again.
in.
Yeah, what?
It is good when you see Josh. Isn't it like
Yeah.
energy? It's like one of those people that you're just like, all right, he walks in, you're happy. You're happy to have him.
Yeah.
And you have had a wild couple of years, my friend. Just
Yeah.
fucking all over, working remote, doing everything. Like, to jump right into it, before we get into what you're doing today, the question I wanted to ask you, I was saving it for this.
Yeah.
You decide to just have a kid and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back to the wife's mainland.
Yep.
We're going to go kick it in Mexico for a year and run the business. What was it like going to another country to run your business in the United States?
It was crazy, but
Yeah, you think?
yeah, it was crazy. It was damn crazy. But you know what? It was just like the perfect thing to do. We were both
Yeah.
like, you know what? If we have a child, like this is the only time we could do it, right?
Yep.
So that came about actually one day she was at work and I was running Grown Out Digital. So and we were doing really well, right? You've been to my apartment complex. I was living in a
Yep.
luxury apartment. It's like, oh, okay, I'm checking things off my checkbox. I'm living nice.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. And business, I'm understanding business, which is really cool. I have like ideal clients. I like what I do. And she was at work and she's pregnant and she just got called back to her office.
Yeah.
So she was working remote for a few years. They messed up by calling her back. So this is her first month back into office, and she goes, "You know what, babe? I just want to quit and go to Mexico." And I was like, "You told the wrong person." And then like later that day, it was like marinated in my mind. I'm like, "You know what? Like we should do it. Like
We should just go.
this would be the right time to do it."
Yeah.
And we were talking real estate. So we reached out to Mike and we got on the Zoom because it was either like you sell your house or you pull money out of your house to like reinvest now, or we figure it out. But the market kept getting like, it was just funky. We couldn't find apartments, a place to even rent. So we wanted to find a place to rent. It wasn't working out. So you said, you know what? Why go against the resistance? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe we should really do this.
Yeah.
And then literally 90 days later, we packed up all this stuff and then we were in Cancun, Mexico.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Working on there. So that fast forward, that tells us where we are today.
Yeah.
What do you got going on today? What are you talking to us about today?
Yeah, right now I got Soul Consulting. So
Okay.
I'm a big believer of creating, for me personally, I like creating a lifestyle business.
Yep.
You know, like I started Growing Out Digital in 2016 at the Haverhill Public Library by myself, you know, and that I was able to at least build that myself, quit my job, move to Arizona, create a lifestyle, attract my partner, start a family, all came from me making that decision.
Yep.
So for me, now that I'm a father, I'm like, a few months ago, I actually spoke to you.
Yeah.
And I spoke to you at the bar. And for me, I'm a big believer in martial arts. Like I'm always a student, you know? So like I've seen how well you've done the last few years.
Thank you.
And I even told Sarah, I was like, Mike's going to be there. I said it. I was like, I'm going to ask Mike like the direction, you know, cause I could go a few ways, you know, I'm good at anywhere I go. It turns into gold because of me.
Yep.
Right. It's like my character, how I know I can create things through my mind. So I was like, you know what? I had intention to speak with you about that.
Yep.
And I spoke with you about it and you were like, oh, EOS, like look into this, look into that. That night I looked into it. I went home and I looked at it that night on my computer. Right. And I ended up the week after signed up for a free franchise Zoom call.
Yep.
So I look at all the details. I was like, all right, 50,000 to invest, 1,500 overhead per month. This is a certification. This is what the process you need to go through. So I started going down that route and didn't really resonate with all the rules because I'm not a rule follower. And then ended up, you know, I was like 50,000. I'm like, what are they gonna do? And I was like, what are you gonna really do for me for 1,500 a month and that 50,000? Like, I already know how to market. You know, I come from a marketing background. Like, I already built the business from the ground. So you know, when you can build something once, you can build it twice.
Yep.
So then I transitioned to say, you know what, I'm gonna start my own business. And you know, I reached out to my business coach. And he had ideas like, Josh, work with solo entrepreneurs, you know, because that was you one day.
Yep.
You know, you were a solo entrepreneur and I hired him. He's the one who told me to, you know, part of my business partner. He's the one who helped me like create an in-person event. I used to do in-person marketing events in Scottsdale. Like he's helped me a lot because I hired a coach because I'm in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I can only see so much, right? If you're Tom Brady, you can only see so much. Then you have Bill Belichick saying, you know what? So like martial arts taught me that, right? It's like, I don't have an ego to be like, I don't want to learn, you know? It's like, hurry up and learn, you know? It's like, I rather pay for it, you know?
Another successful person with a coach.
Yeah.
What are the odds?
We keep coming back to that theme. That's been one of the themes on all the episodes because we say it's like everyone goes into two buckets. And it's like you either you either go in with the mindset of you're open to it and you realize it's going to get you closer, or you think it's a magic pill or it doesn't work. And it's like I tell everybody, like, I don't care how good your coach is if you're not right in the mindset to be coached.
Yeah. Right.
But if you're willing to be coached, it can unlock just levels and just levels and levels. And it's so funny because, I mean, I'm such a big believer in education and teaching, but I hate public education. It's like a wild contradiction.
Yeah.
But I'm such a teacher and a student at my core because everything you do, you learn, right? But where's it coming from? So, you know, even staying like with your experience when we talked that night, you had already done some of that stuff. You had already laid some of the groundwork and it got it going. But there's a huge niche out here that you're identifying around your skill set of digital marketing and companies that get going, because what no one talks about, I mean, I know you can relate to this, I can relate to this, you can relate to this. Being an entrepreneur is lonely sometimes.
Yeah.
There's no set paycheck. There's no, like we talk about all the time, there's no, I mean, dude, just think about like the week we've had the last week, right? You're trying to raise a couple $1 million for a deal. You're dealing with your existing business. You're bringing in new clients. You're dealing with people saying one thing and doing another. And no one cares. Work harder.
Yeah.
No one is coming to fucking save you. Like, who do we cry? We're gonna cry to each other? Matt, hold me. They're not doing what they said they were going to do. Hannah, hold me. You know, overhead, payroll, expenses, on and on and on. So I think it's a great niche. So tell us, what are you going to do for these business? Where does this lead you in this journey? What are you doing for these entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who are either looking to scale because they have the inconsistent months.
Yeah.
Because they're really good practitioners, right? Or maybe they're 9 to 5 and they want to start their business, but it's overwhelming.
Yep.
So what I help people do is merge the practitioner hat with the CEO hat, you know, because as we know, you start building a business, you're really good at what you do, right? You could be a really good painter, but to have a successful painting business, you have to really be a really good business owner.
Yep.
So I help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs put on their business hat, right? So we work on 5 facets, which is like 1, marketing. How do you understand marketing? How do you understand your sales? What's your customer fulfillment like? There's so much tools and automations right now that you can utilize to make life so much easier.
I feel like there's so fucking many.
Yeah, it's
all,
ridiculous.
you need a whole lesson just on navigating. Every day there's a fucking new AI every 32 seconds. And you don't know what's good, you don't know what's bad, and it's crazy. So
and it's so that's, and then the last 2 buckets is understand finance, understand how do you actually have a bookkeeper. Like, I work with a lot of, one of my clients, he's like, well, I do well, I'm gonna do that. All right, great, let me see your numbers. And it's like, well, I don't manage my numbers. I'm like, yeah, you live off credit cards. It's like, you have to understand cash flow management, right? Like, these are things that I had to learn as an entrepreneur. When I met my business coach, he said, show me your numbers. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I got 4 different credit cards. Like, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm funding my lifestyle, but like, to really be, to really have growth, you have to understand where you're at, the reality of where you're at. You can have I had all the ambition, but wasn't grounded in my business, right? So like, for me, those 5 areas of like the systems, the finance, the marketing, sales, and customer fulfillment is like my main bread and butter to help people with, right? So I help you work on your business, because a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs are so focused and busy in their business,
Exactly,
So I want to be the outside perspective, and a lot of the clients I'm attracting now are like, they're so willing to learn. They're willing to put in the work. Like, I'm making them do stuff that maybe they're not comfortable with, but it's like, this is what it takes. Like,
well, give us an example, right? So what's something Matt comes to you with a new idea? He's going to scale online jiu-jitsu learning. We're making business right here.
Okay.
What are you doing for him?
Yeah, I think the first place I start is customer fulfillment. What is success for a client? Because business really is solving problems for a profit.
Okay.
Right. So if you're going to solve a problem for a profit, what is the success for your ideal client? So I like working backwards, like reverse engineering. It's the same concept. It's like, what's your customer success and customer fulfillment look like? And we work backwards. So a lot of people, because I was in marketing, right? I spent years when people say, Josh, we need help with marketing. We get into their systems, like, we don't even know what your ideal client is, because it's not clear on what the outcome that they're going to receive. What's success for them, right?
Gotcha.
You sign up for jiu-jitsu, the goal is to be a black belt, right?
Yep.
So we know that. Reverse, all right, you got to get this belt, that belt, that belt. Now, how do I keep them long enough, right, to get the next belt and to get the next belt and eventually the black belt? So for me, I like focusing on the end goal in mind. So what's that goal for your clients? From there, you build everything else. So like, even building soul consulting, right? Like, my intention is to start documenting like how I've built this from scratch, being a father now,
Kind of telling the story a little bit.
Yeah. Just like telling people like, hey, I started with how can I really solve their problems? Like, what do they need? And I went back to like what I needed, right? Was that like really the end in mind of like, what does the customer get? What's success for them? How do you develop testimonials, right? Testimonials are the most important thing. So for me, I got into business. I said, I need 3 video testimonials ASAP Rocky, right? It's like, I need it now. So it's like, all right, I'm willing to even do some coaching consulting for free to switch out for a testimonial. It's worth it because now I'm understanding what my client wants and what's a win for them. So yeah, I think that's the most important part. Start what is the client's success and what does that look like and how you're going to solve the problems, and then you make your marketing and your business around that. So I named it Soul Consulting because Soul is my son's name. Yep. But I'm helping solopreneurs. So it's one of those things where the whole playing the words, but that's the most important part. Start with that. Like, what are you going to really help people with? We get
what value you're going to add.
Yeah, you get so caught up in like branding and logo, and I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, I sold my first client without even launching my domain.
It so doesn't matter. It's even with the podcast. Like, the whole reason we're doing like the Michael Ketchen thing is I realized from the first time when we tried, tell us why, and everything. Like, people don't give a shit. They resonate with you. Like, they want to know you. They want to know the authentic you. Talk about leaning into it, and it's just been interesting that our successes kind of aligned with
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just listening to different perspectives of people's lives, and some people look at certain things one way, and when you listen to other outside opinions, it helps you to reframe and recalibrate sometimes to get you to another level. So
100%. Like we talked about the mindset going. Some of the questions I wanted to ask you is, what opportunities do you see? Because we've done a lot in the last, I don't know when we started with Caleb, but like 6-9 months.
Yeah, I'd say 6-9 months.
We've done a ton around our marketing for our residents. It's been incredibly successful.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's been fascinating to see. What do you see out there for opportunities right now, kind of in the digital marketing business? Like, what are some inefficiencies that you're attacking right now?
Well, the inefficiencies is really maximizing your wisdom and yourself. Like you said, it's always, I made a post today. It's like the biggest part of your brand is you. Yeah. You are the brand, telling your story, telling like what the struggle and documenting that. I think it's the most important thing. People see the Gary V, but it's so overwhelming to actually start. Yeah. But I think right now the most important part is leveraging your personal brand and leveraging automations, right? Like, how do you...
Dude, he talking about fucking AI? We were just talking about AI.
Yeah, well, automation is a little bit different still.
AI? Is AI and automation the same thing?
No, it's a little bit different. So AI...
I would consider
Dude, did you think AI was automated? I'm like, here we go.
Yeah, no. So like, all right.
Let's text from Joe's after the show. I told you, dog.
Let's clarify. So AI is artificial intelligence, right? So you're leveraging intelligence to you feed in the machine information and you spit it back for you.
Taking all the jobs.
Yeah, right. So that's AI. I'm not even a big fan of AI. I think the next step is actually not even AI. I think it's being able to write and come up with your own processes and thoughts. So like, I switched from like a digital planner to now back to my planner where I'm writing, and a lot of my ideas and my frameworks I'm writing.
Yeah, the brain is programmed to get like, it's just like perfect example. Like, everyone sends like audio messages, right? Yep. And I do it. I know you do it. Yeah. Matt has missed a notorious 2-minute audio message. It's like put 2 times when they put out that 2 times speed. Shout out to Porfi Matias, a good friend. Matt, that was made for Matt and Porfi because it's like, oh my god. But anyways, my point is though, I will make myself, and it's not a coincidence that all these ultra successful people, as part of their routine, read 10 pages of a physical book every day. Right. The brain, throughout multiple studies, you have flipping a page, reading, handwriting. We're getting away from that. Yeah. And no one knows on the other side of that bet, right? Like, we're making a bet that the future is better. And in some ways it's more efficient, it's faster, yada, yada. But no one knows yet what we're giving up. Yeah. And that's what it's kind of like interesting. We're like, I'm very hesitant. Like, I'll still make myself read, but I read a Kindle now. Yeah. I don't read the book. The nightlight, all that. And I was thinking about this the other day. I'm going, man, I really should get back to in the morning, physically turning a page, because there's all these studies that proves it's healthy for your brain and it activates yada yada yada. And I'm like, I don't want to lose that. I'm like, what if I'm always afraid? I'm like, what's gonna make me lose my edge, right? I'm like, what? Like, is that the thing that's gonna, I'm gonna lose some kind of cognitive function? Yeah. Right. And I think about that obsessive. I probably think about it too much, probably an unhealthy amount, but I think about it all the time because I'm like, all right, that is your edge. And every time we capitulate with another piece of technology and automation, yes, it's making it faster, but what are we losing? Right. And I don't know how to answer that. I don't know.
So like,
you know what I mean?
The difference. So AI, that's artificial intelligence, and I'm actually against AI. Like I agree. I think that it's pulling us away, keeping us more distracted. So I'm not a fan of it at all. It's going to make us easier. So that's why I think my opinion is going opposite of that direction. I always go against.
Yeah.
I dropped out of college.
Yeah.
When everyone was going to college, and I had to taught karate. You know, it was like the most opposite. You know, like I go to Cancun when my business is doing the best.
Yeah.
You know, to take a year off. It's like I always like going against the grain because I just think whatever the mass is doing, you want to do the opposite.
Yep.
So automation is different. Automation is utilizing technology. So automation is like utilizing websites like Zapier or Make.com where it's a trigger action. So like automation you could do where it's like a customer pays, they automatically get onboarded, email sent, you get notified, your CRM gets updated, your pipeline gets updated, QuickBooks gets updated. That's a trigger. There's a trigger.
That's an automation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's an automation. So for me, I like automations, not AI. I'm not a fan of AI, but I am a fan of automations. And business owners don't understand the power of automations. It kind of skipped to the sexy part of AI. You know, it's like, well, it's like, you know, anything else with any trend. It's like you skip to the sexy trend that's going on right now. But it's like, no, just work out, eat healthy, right? It's like eat less than, you know, so it's like even money, like all these cool money trends. And it's like, no, just spend less than what you what you make.
Get me going. I just saw another, dude, these fucking save your credit card, meet me at this event, I'll save your credit. Like what is the hack that these guys are making with credit? Like, I don't, like, what is the scam? I'm like, but the kid who's sitting in front of obviously the rented car for the day with the fake Gucci glasses on telling me about saving my credit. It's not what wealth looks like, man.
No.
Like, no, that's not. No. That's
a lot of them are just good marketers. That's all it is. They're just good marketers.
I guess agree to disagree because good marketers. I see that and I fucking cringe. And I'm going, who is?
Yeah, but there's 8 billion people in the world, so all you need is a small demographic that's going to be enticed by it.
It really is. So what does it look like? 5 years from now, what do you want it to look like with Soul Consulting?
5 years from now, the Soul Consultant is in a place where I'm working with a handful of clients at high ticket. So for me, my main focus is my son, you know, my family. So I think for me, it is, I have something called COIL, one of my coaches, online digital marketing coaches. He has something called cost of ideal lifestyle. So I'm very clear on the income I have to be at.
I like that COIL, cost of ideal lifestyle.
Yeah, so he makes you.
I'm stealing that one. Tell him.
Yeah, I will.
He's getting part of the playbook.
Yeah, for sure. He's good. He's out of Australia. He's a really good dude, and he just had a baby, and he's doing his passive income from his membership group that he charges $99 a month for. He does about $80,000 a month just from his subscriptions.
That's a large mastermind group.
Yeah, he has 800 people in his group, not even including the people who are doing his higher levels.
Wow.
So he's a really good person who's always been grounded in his success. You know, he has the nice cars. He doesn't flash it. You know, he talks like you don't need to flash it when you have money. He has a nice car. He has a nice, 2 Lamborghinis, a couple Teslas, but he never flaunts it. So for me, the COIL cost of I broke down like the ideal car, the live-in, the houses where I want to live. Now, like my plans change. Like I want a house up here because I want to spend more time with family. So it's like, Sarai were talking about this week of like, man, let's invest here. I was like, I know Mike and them, like they'll help us invest out here. Like we could get things going out here. Arizona will be cool. It's saturated, but we would, it's like something to think about. So for me, I have that number laid out. So within 5 years, for sure, hitting that number. I want to hit $1 million a year business as a solopreneur. So low overhead. We did pretty well with me and my business partner with marketing with low overhead. We had 2 VAs who ran mostly everything. And we paid them $1,500 a month. So it's one of those things that now I'm figuring out how to actually monetize my knowledge.
And scale that and push that.
And scale it. So I'm really niche down on just the solopreneurs with service-based businesses. And then now I'm building out my course community consulting model. So I'll have a lower ticket community course space, and then I'll have a higher ticket if you want me to do it with you. And then I'm going to most likely dive into, I'll do it for you.
But you're top tier.
Top tier. So that'll be high, the 5,000, to 8,000 a month, and my consulting would be 2,500 to 5,000 a month. I already calculated. If I have 5 one-on-one clients at 5,000 a month, and then my courses with a top tier, be.
And it's all about that value, right? It's like people will pay anything if it's worth it. If you're getting value from it, forget about it. But you gotta deliver value. And I feel like we're getting to a place in the internet space anyways where it's getting harder for the scam artists to hide.
Yeah.
I remember Gary Vee talked about this years ago, and it's like I see that coming now where it's like you can't fake it. And if you fake it, like I actually have a video I want to record. I got to get with Mary because like I'm sorry, and we know some of the same people, but I can't take this fucking Ryan Pineda guy anymore. I just can't do it. This dude doesn't even make money off real estate, and he's given some of the dumbest advice.
Oh, is that the one with the spiky hair?
Yeah, with the weird fucking hair. And I just see this guy, and I'm like, who listens to these people?
Yeah.
Who actually thinks this is how you invest in real estate? But they're out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're getting exposed more and more. And I think it's going to change. And you can't be a bad actor anymore.
You can't. There's actually a cool Instagram called Ball Busters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you check it out. They're like a private account, but there were these legit e-com guys, and they started by calling everyone out
Good.
on Instagram.
Nice.
So you go on their page, and they have call outs of people like getting the money back, people getting screwed by
Well, that's
certain
the thing.
people.
There's only so many times you can burn bridges before it just starts to go.
It's
everybody
the
knows.
craziest thing to me. And whenever there's big money involved, scam artists are going to come out. It's the ugly
Yeah.
side of it.
Yeah.
But it blows my mind where I'm like, because what it does is it makes it so much harder for good quality content, good quality masterminds, like the things that push everybody up, right? Because then they point to that one guy, they point to this, and it's like, don't be a piece of shit. I mean, it's pretty basic. Before we get out of the thing, I want to tell you a couple book recommendations that made me think you were just talking. Have you ever heard of Who Not How?
Who Not How? No.
And 10x is easier than 2x?
No.
Same authors. You definitely want to check those out. I'm reading 10x is easier than 2x right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I think you posted. Did you post?
yeah,
that?
well,
Yeah, I
we,
saw
we
it.
publicly declared, one of the masterminds men, we're going to $1 billion in assets.
Cool.
And
Love it.
and we're right around 100 million right now. So we get a 10x one more time. And it's going to be interesting because I know for us to get to where I want to go next, you have to change again.
For sure.
You have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like you're about to go through this next iteration of, okay, I've got to hire this many people. I've got to do this many things. I've got to become this person. You got to go through that growth. And that book is really a good roadmap. And it's very interesting. But I definitely check that out. Where can people get a hold of you, Josh?
They get a hold of me at I am Joshua Munoz on Instagram.
Okay.
Or soulconsultant.io.
I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you for being
That's
here,
it.
brother.
Yeah.
Good seeing you, man.
Another good episode. And as always, bet on yourself.